Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about how to create a Power BI reports for your Dynamics 365, Business Central, or Dynamics Nav. So here I have an example of the inventory shrinkage and adjustments report. So the purpose of this report is to track the inventory adjustments you have done in the system. The reason to track this is that in your company, there could be some unauthorized inventory adjustment done by business fraud, like people who want to steal the inventory. They just write up the inventory from the system and take the inventory of the products. So that's one kind of the reason that you want to track your inventory shrinkage. And another reason could be like even the adjustments is authorized and it's legal, but you still want to see what's the reason for the adjustments. There could be scenarios like people done the adjustments by mistake. It's not supposed to be, there's not the quantity or adjustments are not supposed to be done, but done by mistake. So it could be various reasons, like you do the inventory adjustment, you just want to track what's the reason for the adjustment to make sure all the adjustments are done properly. And also you want to track the inventory shrinkage between your inbound transactions and your outbound transactions. Okay, so here we have this report, and we want to filter this inventory adjustments report by item category, by user, and the vendor. And you also want to know your total inventory value compared with the total inventory adjustment value. Okay, so in order to do this report, in Dynamics 365, Business Central, or Dynamics Nav, then you have the item ledger entries which track the quantity for the inventory transactions. And also you have the value entries which tracks the cost and amounts of the inventory transactions. So we have to join those two tables together. Then you can create a SQL statement which join those item ledger entry and value entry table together. And in order to get an item category, you also have to join these tables to the item table, because in the item table, you have the item category code. And if you also want to get the description for the item category, you have to join that table to the item category table to get the description for the item category code. Okay, so by user, if you want to filter this report by the user, then you could find in Business Central in the item category, in the item ledger entries table, you do not have the user ID field. Okay, so then how can we filter by user ID then? And you can filter the user ID because if you check the value entry table, it does has the user ID. And then because you already joined the item ledger entry table and value entry table together, so you can, when you join the table together, you can bring in the user ID field from the value entry table. Then you can filter by the user ID in this case. But some people argue like they do not want to use the user ID from the value entry table. They may want to use from the warehouse entry table because the warehouse entry table also has the user ID. And I'll tell you why you cannot use the warehouse entry table. For example, in this case, if I filter, because I know I did some transactions in the item ledger, so if I filter my username, because I already using the user ID from the value entry table, okay, then you can see this results. And I know in the item ledger entry table, the last few transactions is done by me. So if you calculate the total, then it makes sense that you have this number. So for the item 2564, I did a total adjustment quantity for 20. Then it 2564, okay? So then you can see for 2564, I did a 20. And everything else is the transaction. Everything else is done by another item. So I just click on the posting date sort. So everything else is for the item 2554. So these transactions are done by me. I'm using my user login, JSAW. Okay, so then if you take a look of the total of the other transactions, then 2554, then this total will add up to that 107. Okay, and if you are using the warehouse entry table, then let's take a look of the warehouse entry. Then you filter by me, and you could see for this item, it only captured the entries for the item 2554, and it says it's 17. Let's see why it only captured 17. Okay, so that 17 actually is for the location here. It's for this location. You see the location code here. And I have 3 locations for these transactions I've done. So I have this FCSAM, FCLIV, and FCOSS. So that 17 is only calculating for this location, FCSAM. Then if you calculate the total of this quantity is 17. Okay, so the reason of this, if you check your location card, let's check the location cards for all the locations here. Okay, so when I check my location card and just added the location card, under the warehouse tab, you see all the other locations. I'm just going to go through all these locations, and on the top you see the code is like it's changing the location, so it's changed to the other location. And the warehouse tab, you have nothing, so you have nothing enabled. Only for this location FCSEM, then you have the warehouse documents enabled, and also you have this BIM mandatory. So what is the key is that if on the location card, if you have BIM mandatory enabled, then when you do the inventory adjustments by item journal or the physical inventory journal, then only when that location card has the BIM mandatory enabled, then it will create warehouse entry. Otherwise, if you do an inventory adjustment on the item journal or physical inventory journal for a location which does not have the inventory, which does not have the BIM mandatory enabled, and it will not generate the warehouse entries. Okay, so basically warehouse entry is just if you check the warehouse entry, then you check the adjustment, the entry type of adjustment, then you could see the purpose of warehouse entry is to track the inventory movements. So if I filter by the positive and negative adjustments, then you could see most of these positive and negative adjustments are for your, like, you did the shipment through the warehouse shipment document, or you did a receipt from the warehouse purchase document, from the warehouse receipt document. Most of the cases are those transactions because you have those warehouse documents enabled, and it does capture some of your inventory adjustment done from the item journal or from the physical inventory journal, but those positive or negative adjustments are only for the location you have been mandatory enabled. Yeah, so that's good. That's not a good model to use the user ID from the warehouse entry table. And also because the warehouse entry only require the quantity, is kind of isolating from the value of the inventory. So that's why I do not recommend you to use the warehouse entry for this purpose. Okay, use the user ID from the value entry table. Okay, so for the vendor name, then also the vendor number is not in the item ledger entries table, but it's in the value entry table. So if you join those two tables together, then you can get a vendor number, and then you can link it to the vendor table as well. Then you can get a vendor name. So this is how I get that vendor name, and use the vendor name as a filter in this report. Okay, and so this way you can use the vendor name as a filter on this report. So you see this vendor, there's nothing. Okay, so then I created a matrix table. So you can see I'm using the visual, the matrix. Then you can create a hierarchy because I want to filter my item category code, product group, and also the item and the reason code. So the reason code is also not in your item ledger entries table. It's in the value entry table. So then you have to, when you join the table together, you have to bring in this field from the value entry table. Okay, so then I have this visual. Then you can drill down. You can see the inventory adjustment, the dollar amount, and the quantity by the, so I'm gonna go to the top of this report, of this visual, Then on the top you have this by item category, and if you drill down, then you can see you have product group, you have the item, and you have the reason code. Okay, so then this visual is using the matrix, so you can do this drill in, drill down, and so everything else is very normal, that you can use this adjustment by date and location. Now you can create this. Now you can see the trend. So at the starting point, when you implement this system, you may have done lots of positive adjustments to bring in your open inventory. So there's you see there's a big amount of positive adjustment done at this location on that starting date. And then you may want to find out why you did such a adjustment on October the 22nd, because from this chart you can see this is a very huge quantity compared to other regular days, right? So you may, from this visual, then you may easily find out if there's any big adjustments has been done on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so then I have, this is the total inventory value. Basically, when I combine the item ledger entry and the value entry table, I was using filter to filter the entry type to only the positive and negative adjustments from the item ledger entry table. So then all the data related on this page will be filtered by only positive and negative adjustment. But this inventory value is the total inventory value, is not the total adjustment value. So in order to get this, I do not want to bring in too much data to my data set. So then I created, what I did is like, when I did the item ledger entry table and joined the table, I only filtered this join table by the entry type of positive and negative adjustment. But in order to bring in this total value, inventory value, I just created another one. But this one, only I have the query for only item ledger entry. I do not need to join. The purpose, I did have to join because you still want to see the value. The value is coming from the value entry table. But so I do not want to bring all the other fields. Then I just created another query only to bring in this inventory value. Yeah, that's how I did it. But all the other part of this page is only using my item ledger entry, this one, which filtered by positive and negative adjustment. Only I created another query just to bring in the cost amount. It was joining the item ledger entry and the value entry table, but with very limited field only. So that's how I keep my data set to be smaller. But for sure I do not need to use a filter when I join and bring in the item ledger entry table and the value entry table, but that will be too much data. I don't want to. Item ledger entry table and value entry table are very big table. So if I don't use any filter, then my data set will be too large. So that's my concern. That's why I didn't do that. So I can do that without a filter and put on all the page a filter of positive and negative adjustment by entry type. But that's not the way I want to do, because it will take too long for me to load all the data. So that's why I created a separate query, this query, to just bring this amount, because this is the only place I use the total inventory value without any filter. Yeah, that's how I did it, just to keep the data set smaller. And then everything else is regular. You have your data filter, and you can create a date table just for time intelligence. then link to the posting date in your item ledger entry table. And so this location by location is also from the item ledger entry table. And also because you have both quantity and value, so also from that joined, this item ledger entry actually is a joined table. It's already joined. This query already joined the value entry and the item table together. So that's how I bring this. Yeah, so I think that's everything I want to share in this video. And our company does a lot of fixed fee Power BI projects for Dynamics 365, Business Central, and Dynamics Nav. And also, we also did Power BI projects for other ERP or accounting systems. So if you have any plan to implement Power BI, then you can contact me. You can leave a comment, or you can send me an email. My email address is in the description of this video. So you can definitely drop me an email if you are interested in implementing we have fixed fee Power BI projects. So that we can guarantee within the fixed fee, using a fixed fee, then we have a statement of work. Then you can see the details of the statement of work. But it's a fixed fee. It's not the hourly rate of a consulting company. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you guys again next time.